Have you seen anything about the presidential race of Biden and President Trump? Are there
Yeah.
vice presidents? Who's going to win? You know, the good stuff.
All right. Yes, I've seen it in my dream, and this is where we're going to go back to. I think in March we did a segment. All right. Or it might have been before on your show, but it's on your show regardless. I had a dream. I was sitting. First of all, I was in Obama's basement, and he was plotting up a plan. And then I was taken to a limousine. It was Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Joe Biden. But then Bernie Sanders was on outside of the limousine. He couldn't get in. And I said, Lord, what's going on? And they said they're going to get Bernie Sanders out of the way. And I mentioned this already, that he would be removed. And he was. He dropped out the race. He got removed. And then in that same dream that Obama would endorse Joe Biden, and he did. But in my dream is where I saw Obama giving Joe Biden certain keys, and Nancy Pelosi, and especially Hillary. Hillary's going to be, Nancy and Hillary is like the, if you want to call it, the two Jezebel's twins, the Jezebel and the daughters. Both of them are going to be working together. And their whole objective, especially with this coronavirus, was a leverage to them. They couldn't impeach him. Now they're trying to get the leverage. Now they can't get the leverage. So the next thing is, let's get rid of Trump altogether. And we'll talk about that in segments. And but Joe Biden, in my dream, Donald Trump won the re-election. And I remember because there was a word sent to the White House, and he was told to get the country back in place before the third week of May, the first week of June. Well, he's already worked on that quicker. So he's listening. But now he has to remain humble and repent and stay in his position as well. And I'm sure that this is going to reach him too. I have no doubt that he's already been reached by your show, because I've heard that has come back to me, that he's caught notice and wind of his supernatural. So I just want to let you know that as well, because he has to.
Right, because I have had a heart for him since before he won. And in fact, all of my friends were rooting for other Republicans, ones that appeared to be more Christian. And I said, yeah, you're right, but you're wrong. This is God's choice. That's all that counts with me.
Sure. And one thing about Trump too, he sought the advice of the prophetic. When shall we open the country up? He asked that 3 or 4 times. When shall we open the country back up? So I was one of the prophetic voices, and I told him the time frame, and I revealed the dream, and I told him this is what you got to do. And whether my name were mentioned or not, that's irrelevant, but that's the time frame that was mentioned. But I do know this, that in my dream, he won the re-election. And now we're going to see this whole landscape of the election shift and change. Now we're going to see, now this is where Hillary and Nancy Pelosi and Obama and Joe Biden, all this is going to be, we're going to start seeing satanic forces, like their faces going to be seen. I mean, everything that can come up against Trump is going to start coming up in the next 4 or 5 months. I mean, we're really going to see some, you thought that things could be bad with Trump before.
Right.
But this is where they're going to try to manipulate him and cripple him and say, you ruined the economy. You even with the even with the coronavirus, you didn't care about the people and what have you. A lot of blame, name game. But God's he's going to get this back on track, because the timeline. I've had so many people call the office Cooke Revivals. What do you mean when the prophet said the timeline was off? This decade. The beginning of this decade was not supposed to shift like this. Now, let me explain that prophetically. Prophets, we see in the supernatural. We reveal the mind, the will, and the purpose of God. So that time frame for the church to go into that greater glory, the enemy came in and tried to plot, tried to stop, and try to slow it down. So that's what I mean by the prophetic timetable.